right, so you need to make sure you have a piece of paper out, and we need to get started. Today we're going to do two sections, 9.4 and 9.5, and I've gone ahead and written 9.4's what you should be able to do. It says today I will be able to explain tangent ratios, find tangent ratios, and solve real-world problems using tangent ratios. And then we have quick notes. So you're taking out a sheet of paper and you're starting to copy that. You just need to listen. So last week we took and handed out progress reports. Those progress reports are due back to me, signed by your parent. You have until March 18th in order to get all the work on the progress reports done so that you can bring your grade up. After March 17th, we will not accept anything on the progress report. So from March 18th until we finish the quarter, we will not accept anything else if you've not turned that in. All right. So going back to last week, we learned about sine, cosine, and tangent. We're going to do that again today. We're going to do a brief overview in our quick notes. So basically, I want to make sure that you draw a triangle and we label it. So go ahead and draw a triangle. And then we're going to label it. We know that the red square in the corner is the right angle. A, B, and C. And we learned last week that the opposite side of the right angle is your hypotenuse. And then we talked about the adjacent and opposite leg. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 32 right here, 32 degrees. So when we're looking at opposite, we're looking at the angle that they're talking about, and you're drawing an arrow across from it. That will be our opposite leg. So this would be opposite. And the one that touches, and I'm just going to make this, make it show it better. The one that is right next to that angle is your adjacent. So this one is our adjacent. All right, so that's going to be very important in our notes today to make sure that we have those. All right, so we're going to do example number 1. With our example, all right, last week you solved those and got decimals as your ratios, but today our examples, we're going to find a leg length. All right, so that's what we're doing today. We're finding a leg length. And the problem will ask, find the value of x using tangent of an acute angle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw out triangle. And then I'm going to label it. I've got 32 degrees inside. I've got an X. I've got 11. And then I have my right angle. So when you're going to do these problems, you need to make sure the first thing that you do is you label each side. If you don't label each side, then you're not going to get these correct, and you're going to have difficulties with it. All right? So basically, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take my right angle, I'm going to draw my arrow going across from it, and I'm going to name it hypotenuse. Now I'm just going to say HPO because that's the abbreviation for hypotenuse. Then I'm going to go look for my adjacent leg. Well, here's my 32 right here. So I'm going to just mark this in purple. That's right next to it. So that is my adjacent leg. Now I got to find my opposite. So I sit here at my 32 and I draw it across, and that will be my opposite. All right, again, I'm just abbreviating those. So you need to make sure that you take and label those first. So our formula that we learned last week is tangent equals opposite over adjacent. All right? And that was part of the SOHCAHTOA that you learned. And when I look at SOHCAHTOA, I tend to write it as T over OA, but it's also known as TOA, SOHCAHTOA. So it's the last part of that TOA. All right, so the first step on this, all right, the first step, right here, you're going to write the ratio and fill in, okay, so you're filling in your ratio. So I have tangent, and I have to put the degree next to tangent, so that's 32 degrees is equal to my opposite. My opposite is 11. I'll put 11 on the top, over my adjacent, which is X. Now the whole idea of this is we're solving for X. So we have to get X by itself. Tangents are harder than sine and cosine because you have to do two moves, okay? So basically what you're going to end up doing is you're going to take your X and move it to the other side. In order to do that, you have to multiply both sides by X. So step number 2 is multiply both sides by X. So I'm just going to rewrite this just so you can see this step. So we're going to take that X and multiply it. That means I'm going to put an X here and an X here. When I do that, I'm going to have the X disappear on this side and leave me with just 11. Then I have X and I have tan 32 degrees. So again, it's asking for our X to be on the side by itself. It's not on the side by itself yet. Now I have tan next to it. So I've got to get rid of that tan 32. So when I'm looking at this, I know that X next to anything means times. Alright? So then I have to divide each side. So step number 3 is going to divide tan 32 on both sides. Alright, so I'm going to take that tan 32 and I'm going to divide it. On both sides. Now, oops, I forgot to write the word tan. Don't forget to write the word tan. So tan 32. If you need to, draw your line going down so you know which side's which. So you see that it's all done on both sides. Alright, so the next step is we see that this cancels out, leaves me with my x by itself, and I have 11 tan 32. Now this is where your calculator comes in, and if you haven't done and downloaded your Desmos app, alright, my Desmos app looks like this. Remember, this is the one that you're using on your state exam, okay? What you're going to do is I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. So you're going to put in 11, and because there's this line right here, it means divide. So you're going to divide by tan 32. You have to type in the word tan. I'm going to hit tan. Alright, I'm going to go back, make sure I did that right. I'm going to do 11 divided by tan 32. Alright, notice that comes out to 17.60367,982. We're going to go one decimal place, the tenths place. Alright, so I'm going to write this out, 17.60. Notice there's a 0 here. That means nothing happens to my 6. So my answer is x equals 17.6. So we're going one decimal place, but you've got to look at the one to the right of it to make sure that you've got it correct. Now, I want to go back. Notice that the Desmos calculator put it in a fraction. You can also start, and we'll hit clear all. You can also start with this ABC key. Put the 11 there, and then go to the bottom and put your tan 32, and notice it comes out to the exact same answer. Alright. Alright, you are going to try one on your own. I'm going to write this one over here off this side because I have room. Try it. What you're going to do is you're going to pause the video and you're going to try this example. So you draw it out. First, so we've got 25 degrees, 12, and x. Alright, so you're going to start with write the ratio. Alright, you're going to put tan, but instead of 32, you should be able to put what that is, 25. But we've got to figure out our hypotenuse and our opposite and adjacent. Alright, so you're going to pause the video and you're going to try that. Alright, hopefully you've completed that problem. I'm going to start by doing my labeling. So I have my right angle, I drew my arrow across, so this is my hypotenuse. I'll look for my adjacent next, because it's next to my angle, so that's my 25. I'm going to put adjacent ADJ here. And then I've got to find my opposite. So I start inside my triangle at my 25 and draw across. So this would be my opposite. Alright. So then I'm just going to set up my ratio. I've got tan, and I have 25. Because in this one I had 32, this one I have 25. So that's tan, 25 degrees equals, and remember, it is opposite over adjacent. So I'm looking at my opposite over adjacent. So my opposite is 12, my adjacent is x. And then we're going to start moving our items. So this means that I'm going to move my x on both sides. That cancels out my x there. Leaves me with x and 25 equals 12. Alright, remember this is multiplying, so then I have to divide by tan 25 is equal to tan 25. I'm dividing on both sides. Oops, got 2. Alright, again, if you need to do all of that going down, you can. So it cancels it on that side. Leaves me with x equals 12 over tan 25 degrees. And then you need to take your calculator. You can do this on the TI-30s. I'll show you it on this one this time. Okay? So basically you're going to put in 12, hit your divide key, hit your tan right here, 25, and hit equals. Okay? I don't think that looks right. Oh, divided by 10. Let's see why, because my key was stuck. Let's try this again. 12 divided by 10, 25. Alright, so notice that it's a 48. That's not the correct answer. So this is going to be 12 divided by, then you're going to hit 25 tan equals. Alright, it's 25.73. So there's a difference in the calculator, okay, and your actual Desmos that you use. So actually the Desmos is easier to do. Alright, so I'm going to do that again. 12 divided by 25, the tan goes in second, and then you have to hit equal. So notice that this is x equals 25.73, okay? So 25.73, do x equals, you're looking at this digit to see if this rounds, because it's a little below 5, it's going to end up being 25.7. So that is how you do the tangents. I actually like the Desmos calculator better on that, so I'm going to show you because it's actually just easier to put in, because all you have to do is do 12 divided by tan 25, and you've got your answer. So the calculator they actually give you on the FSA, the FAST test, is actually easier. Alright, so that is all for 9.4. Alright, come back up here. Remember, this is 9.4, so we're going to have some problems with 9.4. But before we do that, you're going to go to the next video, and you're going to take and copy those notes, and then we're going to give you your lesson.